Welcome to Dead Man Talking. Tonight's story is part 2 in a series entitled UK Park Ranger Experiences. Let's get straight into that. Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well. I'm back with another story I'd like to share with you, or rather, I feel the need to share with you, as there's nothing I like about it. When someone goes missing in our national parks, the British Search and Rescue Team are contacted immediately. However, they are always at least half an hour's flight away, and even then, they only have so much flight time before they are forced to turn their helicopters around to refuel. This leaves a lot of the searching down to rangers, as we all know of the areas and the trails very well. It's always an adrenaline pump situation to be in, as you never know what the outcome will be. Usually, the helicopter spots the lost people within 20 minutes of joining the search party. But then there are the missing people. You should know that between the rangers, we refer to these situations with two categories: lost people and missing people. A lost person is a normal search and rescue scenario. Someone went down the wrong trail and hasn't been seen in a while, and perhaps throw in a broken leg for good measure. The main thing is that we find them, even if they are a little beat up. A missing person, however, is someone who hasn't been seen for anything over a day, or if the situation seems off. For example, when people just seem to disappear. I have one particular case I am going to share with you. I will warn you closer to the time, but there is some pretty explicit content in this memory, so here is your pre-warning. It was a pretty standard shift. The sky was just starting to dim as the sun started sinking towards the horizon, and I was sat in the ranger station taking calls and checking emails when a woman comes bursting through the door, absolutely beside herself. Her hair is a mess with leaves tangled in it, her makeup is all smudged down and across her face, and her eyes are red from crying. She's telling me that her son had been by her side 1 minute, and then when he went into the bushes just off of the trail for a wee, he never came back. There was no scream, no noise, no nothing. I knew at this instant that we had a missing person on our hands, and my heart stopped. A missing child was always bad news and seldom had a happy ending. He had been in the bush for maybe 2 minutes when his mother called out to him, and she went running into the woods to try and find him. She was very lucky to have made it back to the trail without getting lost, or worse, if you ask me. I tried my best to calm her down and took her to a map, and after showing her where our station was, I asked her to try and locate their average location at the time, while I made some calls. She protested at first, but after assuring her we had dealt with this kind of situation many times before, she brought herself to trust my instructions and started tracing her tracks on the map. I immediately called the SAR team closest to us and told them the exact location was to be confirmed, but to dispatch a helicopter for a missing child. They give us an ETA of 40 minutes. I gather all the rangers on duty, and after confirming with the woman where she believed they were when he disappeared, we all get assigned grids on the map to check, and we head out. We are very thorough as we search, and we search each square of the grid very effectively and do not leave so much as a rock unturned. So, we're getting deeper and deeper into the woods at this point. We've been searching for a good couple of hours, but the dogs hadn't picked up the boy's scent, and we were merely doing a routine comb-style search. The helicopter was buzzing around non-stop, and everyone was on quiet. No one really spoke much while looking for the children. I think it's because of the fact that it's a child we are looking for, not an adult who may be able to look after themselves. I'm getting this heavy, knotted feeling in my gut, you know? The kind you get when you just know that it's going to be a fruitless effort. I should also mention that it's getting dark now and there's not much light left, and what little is left is completely blocked out by the trees, so it's flashlights from here on out. We'll never find this kid, bro, my colleague said in a completely flat voice. Don't talk like that. We never know what we could find while searching, I replied sharply. Though deep down in my guts, I knew that this child was gone. The helicopter heads back for more fuel, and then comes back again. After a further few hours of searching, it is getting very dark, and we call it a night as everyone needs to be back before the forest was completely consumed by darkness. The woman stayed in one of the medical beds we had previously prepared for her son, though I doubt she slept at all. I watched the cameras that lay deep in the forest, somewhat in the area the child had walked into. After an hour or so of nothing, I eventually decide to call it a night. We didn't find this boy the next day, or the day after that for that matter. 3 weeks later, one of our rangers radios that they found a body of a child deep into the woods and that we need to get there as fast as possible, and she sounded very, very worried. A few rangers and I jump into the 4x4 that we use to get deep into the woods quickly, and we make our way to the location described. It's a clearing near an old entrance to a closed cave. The trees seem to all lean over towards the cave entrance, as if to be watching intently for whatever is next to climb out. We arrived after 10 or maybe 15-minute ride. It was one of the most uncomfortable and tense rides of my career, as the vehicle access trail was rarely used, as we didn't have much of a reason to come this far into the woods, and we never travelled at this speed. We parked in the clearing and approached what would turn out to be one of the most disturbing experiences of my career. I would like to take this opportunity to warn you that what I describe next could be disturbing to some and cause upset, as I can only label it as child abuse. The boy was curled in a fetal position, laid on the left side, and it may have looked as if he died naturally, as if it wasn't for a huge pool of blood that was laying in along with the fact that he was completely naked. We rolled his stiff body over onto his back, and I think we all took a step back as if some force had pushed all of us away at the same time. You see, some sick fuck had sliced his gut open, allowing all of his innards to spill out. But the horror didn't end there. Oh God, no. Please understand that this is not an easy memory for me to recite, so forgive me for not going into too much detail, though I doubt I will feel like they missed out. Everything of this boy was gone. That's right, the left eye, left ear, left testicle, left hand and foot. You get the picture. I was mortified, and I'm not ashamed to say that I threw up violently, almost instantly upon taking all of this in for a moment. Every cut was very neat and clean, more so than you'd imagine a surgeon could make them, especially out in the woods. What was even more horrifying was that the body couldn't have been more than a few days old. Whoever, or whatever for that matter, had taken him and done this had kept him hostage for almost 3 weeks. The thought of how terrified this child must have been still sickens me even now, nearly 7 years on. We called it in, and air ambulance took his body away to be examined by the police and checked for prints, etc. Now, we're not really meant to be kept in a loop on following investigations after they've left the park. However, the local police officers would tend to update us regularly on the results of these findings. An officer had rung up to update us, and his voice sounded dull. He sounded almost as if he was very depressed to be making the call, and I can understand why. The post-mortem had revealed that the cuts all seemed to be taken from when the boy was alive. Furthermore, it seemed that there were no traces of food in the boy's stomach. So clearly, he wasn't fed either. Apparently, there were more body parts missing, but I just thanked the officer for giving me the information, and then hung up the phone slowly. I sat there for a good 20 minutes, bawling my eyes out before relaying this horrific update to a few colleagues. How that little boy didn't die sooner is beyond me. I can't contemplate how this could happen, but whoever or whatever did this is definitely dangerous. Extremely dangerous. That trail was closed off for a good time, and there were armed patrols through that area of the woods for nearly 4 months following, in a desperate attempt to find a trace of who the hell did this, or at least where it happened. We found nothing. Not even the other body parts. They even explored that of the cave that was still safe to access, despite it being closed off due to many, many deaths due to the lack of safety. This is not the only experience of this nature that has occurred. However, I'm going to cut it off here. I am done writing for today, as I got emotional just allowing the memory to crop back up. Please, please, keep your children close by your side, and if they need the toilet, they must either wait or you must accompany them. Never stray far from the trail. No more than 5 minutes would be my recommendation. Not unless you know exactly what you are doing. I promise that my next post won't be anywhere near as grim as this one. I don't think I can bear to bring any memories like that back to the surface for a while. I think I'll just stick to the creepy stuff for now. Stay safe, friends. Stay safe. Wow. Hope you guys enjoyed that story. Quite a gruesome one. Please do let me know down below in the comments. As ever, guys, please do like and share. If you haven't subscribed already, please do, to stay up to date with Dead Man Talking. And as ever, folks, remember, be safe, not sorry.